guys, welcome back. We are back to Let's Talk About It with Courtney, and I'm so excited. I've gone back and forth with what we're going to be talking about this week, and honestly, it's come down to two things, and I think maybe one will just be the next episode. We'll kind of see how it goes and what we can cover in today. Grief has really hit me this week, and not that anyone has recently passed away or presently dealing with a loss of significance as a person, which of course, all loss is significant to a person. But this week, I just feel the heaviness of it. And maybe it's to deal with personal relationships, grieving what a relationship was and what is. And also everything that's led up to the launch of the podcast and my intentions and what I wanted from it has really spoken out to me. How did I put all these pieces back together? I've gotten a lot of great support and questions is how do I put all these puzzle pieces back together and rise from it. I actually just made a post, and if you haven't checked it out, I hope you do, and I hope it resonates. And if you do, please comment, share. I'd love to know how it did it. But I think what I would probably think the most important thing to tackle is that piece. Is what happens, Courtney, and clients ask me this all the time. What happens when my life feels like it's falling apart? And gosh, I've been there. I've been there. As if you've listened in any of the episodes, you know, it's not like this has always been easy for me. And by experiencing everything, it kind of cultivates my practice and what I do. That's why I've created this podcast, why I'm putting myself out there, is hoping that everything I've gone through is in fact going to help other people. So what I would encourage everyone to do is to look at the big picture. It's so hard to do. And I say that and I still I feel somehow I'm betraying you by saying let's look at the big picture versus, because this right now in this moment it feels heavy. Whatever you're going through right now, whatever made you plug in or grab your earbuds or join this podcast, this episode, it does feel so heavy. In this, if you look at a big book, this chapter, maybe even this paragraph feels heavy. And I don't want to look at the whole book. Who would want to? That seems big. Maybe it's minimizing what I'm going through right now, and that's not what I'm doing. So I encourage you to keep an open mind. What I'm referring to is the whole book. I just turned 36, and so let's call them 36 chapters. Why not, right? Is this the whole, was this last year of my life, my whole life? No. Was 21 my whole life? Certainly not. And with what you're going through right now, if you're I just don't know how to put everything back together, it's not supposed to be put back together. That's why we're here. Let's talk about not putting things back together as they were before. The fact is, before whatever circumstance you have gone through, you are not the same person. Your life is no longer the same chapter. The version of you that was there before, it's gone. And if you've lost someone, speaking of my divorce, I am not the woman I was before divorce. I am not the girlfriend my ex-husband dated. I'm not the girlfriend my fiance dated. I'm not the fiance anymore. And that was just in April, right? I am Courtney today, September 2025 Courtney. And sometimes we forget we shed layers like snakeskin, and I can't go back. Have you ever seen snakeskin? If you haven't, I encourage you to look up. If it creeps you out, I'm sorry. But you can't go put it back on. It's shedded. It's in pieces. And you can't put it back on because you've either one, outgrown it, or two, am a different person because of that circumstance. You know, you just can't go back to that old thing and think, hey, I can do that again. You really can't. Some people can. You know, some people, I guess a good way of saying it is considering divorce, maybe a couple separated and they decide to go back in and try it, but they're still not the same people. And as a couples therapist, like, we have to reintegrate the couple back to each other if that's what they choose to do. And if you're in that circumstances, I applaud you. That's hard work, and it's doable for sure, but it's not the same skin. So as we're looking at what's happened in your life and what led you again back to why you joined this particular podcast to listen to this particular episode was, well, what do I do now? Well, who are you? What are you experiencing? What's the feeling? This week I've been sad. I've been really sad. And I asked myself, why am I sad? I'm currently grieving a lot of different relationships. Why am I grieving them? Because they're not the same anymore. Some of my clients are going through breakups and everything, and I'm sitting with them in that, and it's maybe bringing up some other stuff for me. And I'm like, oh, that's not really gone, like a pain or an ache. But I don't want to go back to that relationship. I don't want to go back to the person, let alone that's not even an option in most cases with people. And what do I deal with the grief? How do I get better? How do I sit with it? And then also the whole chapters that we've been talking about so far is like, what do we do with the other chapters? Leave them there. What do you want to do with what's happened to you? When I experienced my divorce and the separation process, and guys, it still hurts. Like, it's still something within me that I'm actively working on. I have to focus on what good can this come from? And not because I'm a therapist, but because I just can't believe in a world where I didn't go through something so hard, and one, didn't make me better. It didn't help someone else. And that there has to be some silver lining, if you will, right? Where's that silver lining? A lot of the time when you're in it, when you're in the thick of it, like maybe you are right now, you can't see it yet. And you're not supposed to. You're actually supposed to be alive and in this moment and experiencing this hardship. And I hate that for you. I hate it for you, because I've been there. When I was crying myself to sleep or asking myself, how do I make things work? How do I become a single mom, like, or a single dad, if that's you out there? Like, how does this make sense anymore? It doesn't. And that's okay. And I don't know if I like the word that's okay. That's just what it is at this moment and this time. And you're not supposed to have it all figured out. I can kill myself with anxiety if I keep thinking I have to figure it out. One, you're not alone. You most likely have a friend, a family member, or maybe you see a life coach, therapist, anyone. Just know that there's a hand out there if you want it. I'm one of them, so feel free to reach out if you don't have that person in your life. Or call that aunt, or call that cousin, or your sister, or your brother, and the ones you know love you, and just say, I'm just not doing okay, and that's okay. That's all. And plus, you don't have to give them more information. I'm just, could you think of me? And if you're a believer, can you pray for me? I had to ask people, I know this sounds silly, to check in on me. The night of my separation, where I asked my husband to leave my house at the time, I knew I shut down. I knew exactly, like, my coping skills: shut down, trudge through, keep maneuvering forward. And I knew, because it was an unknown situation, that wouldn't work most likely. Maybe I'm self-aware, or maybe I just knew I'd never tackled this before and I didn't know how to do it. It was either that night or the next day. I can't really remember. It's a very foggy period of time for me. Or even at that point that week. I reached out to about 5 to 10 of my closest friends. I do not count my family. I did text my family separately. Of course, if as a sister and a daughter, I had to let my family know I was going to go through a divorce. And I texted a few of my friends, and it was a text message. It was not a phone call. I did not have the capacity to call people, and your loved ones are going to want to call you. And maybe it's not divorce, maybe it's not separation, maybe you just lost your freaking best friend, maybe you just lost your dream job, maybe your girlfriend just broke up with you, maybe an engagement like is not what you thought it was been there. Or what if you just lost your baby? What if you were just assaulted? What if you were just abused? And you never experienced this before? And you don't know how? You don't know how to experience these things. If that immediate thing is you don't know how, reach out. And I know it's so hard to do. Like, do you see the tears? I feel for you. And at that point, in that time, I didn't know what to do. I knew I didn't have the capacity, and that's a big word for me. I did not have capacity to fill everyone in. The only person at that point in my time, in my life, when I'm going back to that woman that's in that bed crying, is I had to save and conserve everything for my daughter. And if you're a single parent or you experience that, or maybe you're a teacher, a nurse, like if you need to save whatever amount of fuel left in the engine, sometimes fumes, save it and conserve it for where you need it. So I knew I needed to let people know what I was going through, and not a social media post to the world, but to let some core people. And I know 5 to 10 still seems like big, but my group of friends are pretty broad and across the country, and I just knew I needed people to check in on me, because my job was going to be checking in and taking care of my clients and my daughter. And aside from maybe be able to do like a self-evaluation day, and I'm not gonna lie, I did not do it. I brushed my teeth and I went to bed. Like, there wasn't a lot of self-care going on in that. But I knew by reaching out, sometimes I like to say the 4 quarters in your life. Rather have 4 quarters and 10 dimes, and I say that when I have like 10 friends. But I reached out to about 10 people, 5 to 10, and I just explained, hey, don't have the energy to dive into this or to talk on the phone. Please don't take this personal. Has nothing to do with you. Or you just leave it. I wouldn't even do that. Today, present Courtney would not. It's like, hey, I don't have the capacity to reach out on a phone call, so please respect my boundary. However, I'm going to go with my story. You fill in the dots, okay? I have decided to end my marriage with my ex-husband, with his name, and I don't want to give a lot of details, but basically there was infidelity again. I can't do it again, and I don't know what to do other than to ask you to check in on me, because I won't know how. And again, you can write it, chat GPT it, whatever that is, like a short little sentence, like, just keep eyes out for me, please. That made the world of difference. It made a world of difference. And all of my friends, they're like, yes, Court, I've got you. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of you. Reach out if you need anything, ... No one called, not because they don't love me, but because they respected me in that time. I had friends send soup. DoorDash is a great tool if you're trying to take care of a friend and they're on the other side of the country, which I was from a lot of my friends and family. And some were just checking in on you, thinking about you. No need to respond. And I got a lot of those for a few months. And eventually I was ready to talk about it. I think it's so crazy that the top, what I end up calling the podcast, let's talk about it. It makes perfect sense. It's all aligned. It's all divine. It was always meant to be here. And when I was ready to talk about it, then the phone call would happen. I would initiate the call. They would probably already know what I'm calling about, because I already gave them that preempt idea that I will reach out to them when I'm ready to. And they met me there, and again, slowly they kept checking in on me. So whether or not you have lost someone and you're struggling, whether or not you just went through something that there's no way anyone could ever understand, I encourage you to reach out just to a couple people. You don't have to tell them anything about what happened. just check in. Hey, I'm going through something, can't get into it, but we just check in on me. You don't have to be suicidal or to feel like you can't handle something, because in the day, you know you can get through hard things, because the fact is you have before. But having that check-in, having that literally was so good for me. And then when I was ready to talk about it, I talked about it. And slowly I caught up all my close friends and family about the circumstances of my divorce, and that was my situation. And I've done this in other aspects of my life. As I've shared, I've recently gone through a breakup. I did the same thing. So I encourage you, and if you don't, again, find someone. And if that someone's not there, already exists in your life, reach out. I'm a coach, I'm a therapist, I'm here to help you. The reason why I opened my coaching business was for exactly this, so I could see people anywhere around the world without the limitations of a license in each state, or if you're traveling or whatever happens. But this isn't about that. It's about, how do I put back the pieces? First, acknowledging, reaching out for help, and then coming to terms that this puzzle is now missing a few pieces. These life experiences, man, it's like I picture like 100-piece puzzle, and it's like pieces of your soul are now gone or are taken. And I would imagine like it's like a handful if it was my divorce. I can't imagine whatever that is. How can you put back the puzzle? You can't. You have missing pieces now. So acknowledge, like, I have missing pieces now. How could I ever put this mess back together? You can't. But what you can do is move on from it and embrace what happened. Embrace is a weird word, but I'm choosing it specifically. Embrace, like, again, I will use what I know, and that embrace, like, I am now a single mom. I am now a person that's in a separation, going to get a divorce. And I'm not the same Courtney I was. Gosh, we separated in July 2 years ago. I'm no longer that June Courtney that was in Paris. I almost said Italy. We were in Paris for our 11-year anniversary. Happy, drinking an Aperol Spritz, looking at my beautiful husband at the time and thinking life can't get better than this. I am not her. She is a memory of mine, but she is not who I am anymore. I didn't have this experience to be who I am now. And I'm going to fast forward because I think it's helpful, especially if you're in that thick of it. And who am I now? I am a person that will end a relationship if there's red flags. I am not going to wait it out, work it out with someone that, one, I'm not married to, for sure. I am not going to tolerate someone talking to me horrible, especially if it's a partner. And that brings up my last relationship. There were a couple of yellow flags. I monitored them. I communicated some fears with it. And then I moved across the country to start a life with this person. And a red flag popped up. Years ago, if you haven't heard my story, I think it's episode 3, I stayed through multiple infidelities. I'm not her anymore. I think it was like the day after we moved here, I saw a red flag. I was like, you know what? You're exhausted, and let's wait it out a week. And I waited out a week, communicated the red flag, communicated that, and didn't really get a response. And I promise that's a future episode, so don't hold your breath. It's not coming today. But after the week, and I was bringing my daughter home to North Carolina, to Washington, and I said, I don't do this anymore. I'm not the girl that hopes the guy gets it together and knows who she is, knows the worth of the relationship. Myself, especially my daughter, she is everything. She is liquid gold. Not liquid gold. She's solid gold. She's a human. What's that? And no one is going to be around my daughter or myself that doesn't hold us in the highest regard and respect. And nothing with this was for Hazel. This was for me, and I'm Hazel's model. That man loved my daughter. That has nothing to do with me. But the fact that there were red flags and starting to see some mistreatment with me, she's too important. And I'm that girl's model. And I said, no. And I told him, you're going to have to move out. I don't do this anymore. I warned you. I told you to get some help. I kind of tried to have this talk before. I didn't get a response, or I don't want to say a reaction because there were reactions, but I didn't get applied effort. I don't know if that's a way of saying it, but basically it wasn't going to work for me anymore. And if I was the girl years ago, and I think I even said that to him if I'm recalling it right, like I've been divorced. Breaking up with you, as much as it's gonna suck and hurt, like, I will do this. If I can leave Hazel's dad, I can leave you. And that's something you should know. That was my warning before the breakup. And that is what I got from my first. I don't let men or anyone treat me bad. And I certainly only will have the best people around my daughter, especially in their home with her. That is important to me. I had friends so worried, like I would either repeat what I did with my ex-husband, as in let things slide, and there was no red flags at that point. So when like my friends, when I was moving across the country and I got engaged and all these things, but Courtney, you were worried beforehand. You know, we saw what happened with your ex-husband, and we don't want you to be that. And I'm like, guys, that girl's gone. Long gone. And when I broke up with this individual, my friends, of course, were proud of me, but like that, oh, we didn't have anything with. Courtney's not that girl. I'm not in that same snakeskin I was in my snakeskin. Like, I am not her anymore. I don't do that anymore. I will end any relationship, whether that is a intimate romantic relationship, a friendship, even if you are my flesh and blood or my family. I will end any relationship that is not in my highest and best in my daughters because of what I've gone through. And this is not me preaching or telling you like I'm making lemonade out of lemons. I mean, technically, I guess I am, but if I had not shed that layer, I would keep letting men treat me bad and then teaching my daughter that. That's just one of many, like this is just my specific experience and what I'm called or feel led to communicate with you. And going forward, I will never stay in a relationship like I did before. I know my self-worth. I know I'm a good mom. I know I'm a good human. I know I was an amazing wife and I did the best I can with my ex-husband. I know I tried everything to save that marriage, and I don't want to ever have to be in the place where I deprive myself or my happiness or anything for anyone else again in my life. It doesn't mean I'm not going to have bad days or bad experiences. And when I did break up with my fiance, it still hurt. It still felt like starting over again. Like, here I am again. Like, how is this happening to me again? Like, I swear I'm a good person. Like, and I hear that through my clients, through stories I've heard, through my friends, through my family. Like, how do so many bad things happen to good people? How in the matter of 5 years did I lose my biological mom, my uncle, two of my baby cousins, my second cousin, baby cousin? Like, how does all of this happen? How? And losing friends, like, how, like, wasn't I a good friend to them? And the thing is, a lot of the time, like, everything you go through is either a lesson, and I hate that. I hate being that person. I'm like, there's usually a lesson in the heartache. There's usually a lesson in the story. And I'm not justifying shit. I'm not. I'm not justifying any action that was against you. And I'm not justifying cheating. I'm not justifying anything. But if I hadn't gone through that experience, maybe I wouldn't be here today in front of you talking and recording at my house, giving you this example, because I wouldn't have had it. Or the strength. I kind of think of like a phoenix rising from the ashes, you know? If I didn't rise from the ashes, if I didn't get out of that depression, if I didn't get therapy, if I didn't get help, if I didn't get healing, I would not be the person I am today, hoping to reach out to others that this will help you. There is no more puzzle pieces to put together when you go through hard things. And I've seen this in so many aspects and trauma histories of my clients, my friends, my family. And it's not always a lesson. It's not always something was supposed to happen to you. I don't no. But the fact is it has. It has happened to you. What do you want to do with it? And not right in the middle, not right after. It's kind of like the aftershock of the earthquake. You just got hit with a natural disaster, and that's what this freaking feels like. It feels like a tornado, something crazy, a volcano eruption in your life, and that's why you're you're distraught, you're lost, disorganized, don't know. And that's why the first step is to reach out. Just have people reach out to you so they have eyes on you, to keep you safe, to remind you that you're loved, to have the friend send you the donuts, to have a coffee dropped off by your bestie, or to have your mom call just to make sure you're okay. That's the first step. And then after the aftershake of that, after you're kind of I want to say grounded. I was going to say stable, but no, grounded. After you're more grounded, maybe you're a little bit more, what's the word? Your nervous system isn't as shocked. That's it. When you're a bit more regulated, now that this has happened, what do I want to do with it? Well, I can't change anything. That happened. It happened. What if it happened and I don't give the energy or more time? And again, there's no time limit. It's whenever you feel regulated. Maybe you've gone to some therapy. Maybe you've gone to yoga and healing or Reiki or whatever you're into. Maybe you're finally in a better nervous system and you're grounded and you're like, now what do I do with it? We're not putting it back together. Can't put it back together. Can't go back to that snake skin you already let go because it doesn't fit. It's wrecked. And you're already kind of fully into your body already. What to do with these pieces? Do we shred them and throw them like confetti? Oh, that would be fun. I should do that. Is there still pieces of this puzzle that's together and beautiful? And maybe the next part is finding new pieces of puzzle and the way to put yourself not back together, but create something new with it. Again, I had never experienced divorce, separation, or any of that. I had experienced infidelity before. I've done recovery for infidelity multiple times. I've done a lot of self-work with it. I am a couples and sex therapist, so I feel qualified in knowing I went through those things. And I sought out help and supervision and everything in between. But now that I'm a divorced, still weird, and it's been almost a year since we've been divorced. I am a divorced woman. I am a single mom. I am a new person. I'm a different therapist than I was too. What do I want to do with it? I now have experience to help people. And I was already helping, but I'm a therapist, right? That's what I was doing already. I now believe I'm supposed to work with trauma, with healing, because I can now resonate and share my experiences like I'm being vulnerable with you right now, and share that you're not alone because I've gone through it. And maybe I can sympathize. Maybe you can relate to the story. Maybe you're like, dang, maybe she gets me and I'm not the only one that could get you. I'm sure there's so many great people out there that could help you. But what did I do with it? I cultivated this project, and I'm like, I'm done being quiet about it. That's what I'm gonna do with it. Because I used to be silent. I'd go back to that skin, even though it didn't fit. That's why I kept staying married to the same person, right? I don't do that anymore. So I'm out here speaking out about it. So one, you know, you don't have to do it anymore if you don't want to, or pretend like everything's okay. Or how if you lose someone, I recently had someone lose their husband in my life and their dad. The world is not the same anymore. It is different. And maybe down the road, you help someone else go through it, or you at least can hold someone's hand. This world, we are taught to be separated. We are taught to be self-isolated. That's why we are kind of always on our phones or kind of hidden away. I know if you are not used to emotion focused therapy, I withdraw, I shut it down because I'm supposed to figure out myself. I don't do that anymore. I reach out, I get help, and I talk about it. If there's something you've gone through and you're trying to put pieces together but you haven't talked about it, it's not going to work. I encourage you to think, I'm not going to also let them hold me hostage back there either, whatever you've gone through. I'm not going to let them, what they took from me, take more from me or steal my I want to say like Ariel, like the vocal cords. Like, I don't want anyone to steal my voice. I will talk about what happened. I will share my experiences because it heals me, and I hope it helps you. I encourage you to start having conversations that you haven't had before, or maybe even facing that thing that happened to you and you kind of shoved it on the rug and you just keep tripping and you keep tripping and you keep tripping. And you're wondering why you keep falling on your freaking face. Because it's still there. Sometimes what people don't realize is they will also manifest in your body and in your mental health, not just your mental health, your physical health. You'll get sick. Some people have like stomach issues after going through sexual trauma, for example, and it's like they're numb because they decide it didn't happen, or they won't talk about it. Maybe it was someone they knew. The thing is, it's still there. So I encourage you, when you're ready, when you're regulated, to lift up that rug, pull it out, and look at it. I never thought I would be a divorced single mom. I never thought I'd move across the country when I had fallen in love with someone and was so excited to start a life with him and to be breaking up with him and to be back to being a single mom, to still have to co-parent, still have to do these things. I thought it would be different, but here I am. And one, I'm proud I did it. I left that relationship. I'm proud I left multiple relationships so that I don't let anyone treat me that way. But I now use my experiences to create this big puzzle. Bigger than I ever thought would be helpful. Like, not helpful, that would happen. Never, as much as I dreamed of this podcast or these ideas, to actually apply it and put it out there and attach my name to something, branch out, expand to coaching. I never thought, I didn't believe in myself that I would do it. Mostly because I had a lot of people telling me I probably wouldn't, or sure, that sounds lovely. And I would let excuses happen. I'm not the biggest tech savvy person. I don't know how to do a lot of these things, but I know how to work YouTube, hence the YouTube channel. I have great friends that have reached out to me to help me with sound or to create my posture to make sure I'm more welcoming or I feel more like me. But I've used every hard thing to be the girl, woman in front of you talking about stories, hoping it helps you to start a message that should be out there in the open saying, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the hard things. Let's talk about that abusive relationship. Let's talk about, I'll use myself, the mom that abandoned you, had a secret family. That shit sucks. Let's talk about being a single parent. Let's talk about co-parenting. Let's talk about that. That's another episode. Let's talk about thinking you finally caught a break, and then a freaking avalanche comes in. Let's talk about having a full bank account and having to go back to zero, and what to restart there. Let's talk about all of it. I'm so glad you stuck this out with me for like, I think 35-ish minutes. And again, like when I was saying in the beginning, there's like so much grief, sadness, and also like, Courtney, how do I make things make sense? The math is not mathing, as one of my clients would say. And it's looking deeper, looking at it and knowing, like, you're not that guy, you're not that girl anymore. You're not that person, that individual, that human, whatever you identify as. Like, you're not that version of you anymore. And again, once regulated, grounded, what do you want to do with it? Do you want to speak out against it? Do you want to make sure it doesn't happen again? You have to use your voice. You want accountability? Use your voice. You want to change because maybe you're like me and you let people, I wouldn't say walk all over me, but take me for granted, for sure. And then letting them. Look at yourself in the mirror if you have the courage and say, what do I want to do with this? Do I still have work to do on it? I know I do. I'm in therapy. I'm actively still working on healing from both my marriage and my ex-fiance, and this current chapter in my life of opening up my world to the public and what that means for me. And if you're at that point, what do I want to do with it? And recognize, I can't put this back together, but I can make something better from it. And I know I have, and I know I will continue. So thank you again for hanging out with me. Thank you for being a viewer. We're almost like 300 views, and I think that's insane. I'm so excited. The likes and supports on my Instagram account, thank you. For the people that reached out to me to work with me, thank you. I'm excited, and I'm excited for you. And you're gonna see the best is yet to come. Everything you've gone through can be used for something different. And thank you for hanging out with me, listening to the podcast, being part of my world, as I am hopefully part of yours, and that this resonates, this fits, or you're feeling a little less alone. Thanks for talking about it. Until next time. Bye, guys.